One of the missing pieces that I see on a lot of creatives' Instagram profiles are highlights. But highlights are so helpful for when new viewers or even followers come to your profile to learn more about you and what you offer. Highlights are basically an extension of your bio. And since there's not a lot of space in your bio, you don't want to miss out on using highlights. They're basically like a mini sales pitch for you, your products, anything else that you want to share. So in this video, I'm going to be covering the common mistakes I see, how to actually set up a highlight, edit your highlight, name your highlight, and also share 5 highlights that I believe every creative and author should have on their Instagram page. So let's dive into it. Okay, so if you're not sure what I am talking about when I'm talking about highlights, I'm going to show you how they're actually done. So the first thing that you need to know is on Instagram, there are stories, which are 24-hour posts. They disappear after 24 hours, and any content that you posted there, isn't going to be visible after that 24-hour mark. But highlights are another feature that allow you to save your best stories so that they last forever on your page or until you delete them, not really forever. So they're going to be more permanent than 24 hours. So this works really well when we are putting the time and effort into our content and we want to use stories, which are really beneficial for our audience. Usually our most engaged people are watching those, and we're able to engage them further with stickers like the poll sticker, the quiz sticker, emoji stickers, the link stickers, so you can actually link to your website or to your product or to your email newsletter. And so they're hugely beneficial, and we can save our best ones to highlights. So on my profile, I have a variety of highlights that I'm going to show you, and I'm also going to show you how to create a new one. So you're going to go to your highlight section on your bio. So just click the profile tab on your Instagram app, and then you're going to click the plus sign to add a new highlight. If you don't see any stories to add to this new highlight, it could be because 1, you haven't posted any stories, or 2, because your archive is not turned on and not saving. So that's the first step that you would need to do if you are knowing that you posted stories before, but you're not seeing them in this folder. The next thing you're going to do is select the highlights that you want to add to this particular highlight. Now, one common mistake that I see often is that people add one slide to one highlight, and then they have dozens and dozens and dozens of highlights on their profile, all of them not named, and there's just one slide in there. That is not the purpose of highlights. It should be, kind of think of it as like a little brochure or a slideshow, a PowerPoint of a few different slides at least that showcase a certain topic. So you are highlighting, showcasing a topic. And so I'll dive into those 5 different ones that I recommend, but just keep that in mind as you're adding your highlights. Don't just pick one. Make sure that it is a series of pictures or videos that you've added to your stories. Then you're going to name it, and you're going to choose a cover. So you can choose a cover from one of the slides you've added and kind of zoom in, select a nice looking cover, or you can add your own image. So a lot of people will go ahead and design their own highlight covers in something like Canva, so they're all the same color. Maybe they have different titles on them, and so they look nice and cohesive. I personally don't do this, but I try to pick something that's engaging to get people to click. One other mistake that I wanted to mention before jumping into the 5 different highlights that I recommend is try to keep them updated. So something that I see is people have highlights from years and years ago that are no longer really relevant. You do want to keep them somewhat updated. So anything older than a year, try to remove or update that highlight. So for example, the first one that I think every creative should have on their profile is an about me highlight that tells us a little bit about you. But if it's 2 or 3 years old, is that information still relevant? So every year I go in and make a new about me highlight, remove the old one, or just change out the slides within it so that it is updated and fresh. So I'm going to show you my about me highlight and also go in and edit it so you can see how that's done and how you can remove old slides in your highlight and add new ones. Now, remember, these have to be posted on your story first. So post them on your story, and then you'll be able to add them to your highlights. Sometimes it's not immediate, it takes a little bit of time. And the other thing to note is that if you delete a story early, you might not be able to add it to your highlight. So let it stay for the full 24 hours. Don't post a bunch and then delete, thinking that you're still going to be able to add it to your highlights, because that's not the case. So the About Me highlight is the first one, and it is going to have a few slides about you and who you are. It can be really simple as taking a picture of you and adding a few bullet points of text on Instagram stories and posting that to your stories. And then you would add that to your highlight section. It can be a video of you talking. If you'd like to make professional looking graphics in Canva, you can do so. Just pick the Instagram story template and add photos of you, add text within Canva. Some people like to do that for a more elevated look or more professional look, whereas others are going to do the more homemade style within Instagram itself, which is normally what I will do as well. So add a few things about yourself. You want to show you want to talk about your genre or your niche, your industry, why you're passionate about it, and where people can learn more about you. So if you have an about page on your website, or you have a podcast, or maybe you wrote a blog, or you were on someone else's podcast talking about you and your story, you can link to that there. The next one that you should have is a very clear place for people to go to find out more about your products. So if you are an author, you could have one called My Books that goes through your different books, maybe one particular series that shows the book cover. It shows a little summary of the plot, something intriguing, a hook that you might include in a TikTok or Instagram reel, for example. It can include a couple reviews of your book, and it should also, of course, include a link sticker linking people to buy the book. A mistake that I see often with these is going to be a highlight for your books, which is great, but all it is inside is just you sharing a couple posts from your Instagram feed to your story and not actually utilizing story features. So yes, it is great to share posts to your story. Sometimes it can help you get some more views on the post, but you should also be engaging your audience in stories. It's not just a place to repost your feed posts. You also want to use the engagement stickers and link people directly to buy the book. So whatever your product is, whether you're an artist, musician, author, photographer, make sure that you have one that showcases your work, your services, your products, and where people can go to learn more. And while we're on the topic of adding stories to your highlights, I also don't recommend making them too long. If it is a sales pitch for a book, for example, try not to go more than 5 to 7 slides. People will kind of get bored and swipe out of it, and you want to make sure that link is nice and clear and that you've hooked people in to go buy. Remember that they will be taken to your product listing where they can learn all of the details that they need. So this is just to get them off of Instagram and ready to go buy the product. There are certain ones where I do have a lot of slides within them, and that's my next recommendation is one on social proof, which can showcase reviews from people or photos from people engaging with your product, reading your book, listening to your music, whatever it may be. And so I have one called Reader Love on my Instagram, and that has a ton. I think the max that you can have is 100 slides per one. And so I have 100 pieces of social proof of my readers going through and taking pictures of my book and tagging me. And I really like to showcase that because it gets other people to share my book as well. So that is one where I do go over my recommended limit of around 5 to 7 slides and really showcase all the different readers that are enjoying my books. Now, if you don't really have a lot of reviews or you don't have, readers taking photos of your book, that's okay. My recommendation would be to go through your comments and see any positive comments that you have. If someone says, "This book sounds amazing, can't wait to read it," even though that's not someone who's actually a buyer yet, you can still showcase that as social proof and take a screenshot of that, post it to your story and say, who else is going to add this to their list on Amazon, and link to it. And that can be social proof as well. So it doesn't always have to be readers reading the book or, customers showcasing your product for you. It can also be Amazon reviews that you screenshot or a nice email that you screenshot, and make sure that you are, blurring and taking out people's personal information with this. If they're publicly sharing something to their story or on their Instagram feed, that's okay to, reshare. But if it is a private DM or something like that, just make sure that you are blurring out the name and being respectful of their privacy as well. but also showcasing that social proof to your audience. On the subject of using Instagram to sell your books, I have an entire step-by-step course called Accelerate Your Author Instagram that over 700 authors have used to elevate their Instagram bio, learn all of the strategies that I use to grow my audience to more than 100,000 followers and sell thousands of books on Instagram. I will link that course in the description of my video so you can check it out if you are interested. It comes with story templates, my strategies, and if you're just not as familiar with the Instagram platform, a step-by-step into each of these different features like Reels, Stories, Highlights, all of the above, with video tutorials as well. The fourth highlight that I definitely recommend you have is one about your newsletter if you have one. So if you have a freebie or a reader magnet, lead magnet, make sure you have one dedicated to that and showcasing what that freebie is. So I have one that's just called freebie because that's enticing. People click on it and they want to learn more. And so in that highlight, it will have a few slides about what they're going to get when they sign up, why they should sign up, what is your newsletter about, what is going to be inside that's going to add value to them, and make sure that it is really focused on your subscriber, and then a link to go ahead and subscribe and get that freebie. If you don't have a reader magnet, but you have a newsletter, again, you should just make it as subscriber focused as possible. What is inside to get them to subscribe to your newsletter? What is in it for them? That should be the focus of that highlight with, again, a link to go ahead and subscribe. The last one that I recommend is more broad, and this is really just showcasing a hobby or a passion, showing some of your personality. This has been time and time again shown to build trust and loyalty with your audience when you are showcasing who you are outside of just maybe being an author and showcasing your books, or being an artist and showcasing your creative process and your art. What else are you passionate about? So for me, that looks like a few different ones. I have one about my tortoise Pancake because it's kind of unique that I have a pet that people don't see every day, and people love seeing photos and videos of Pancake. And I also have one about a couple of my services. So I have, a couple different memberships, one coming very soon in mid-November that I cannot wait to tell you more about. The waitlist is in the description of this video. And I also have a poetry club membership, so I showcase that on my page. And so think about the different hobbies and passions you have that might align with your audience or make them kind of feel that connection to you. I know there's people who drink matcha every single morning, and so they have their little matcha highlight and story routine where they showcase them making their matcha and talking about what they're going to work on that day, or, making their coffee, or going on their daily walk. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be every single day, but something that you enjoy doing that kind of can bring people closer to you. So I know like a horror author that has one where every weekend she watches a scary movie and has a highlight dedicated to scary movies that she would recommend and kind of rates them on her page. So that again resonates a lot with her audience, but also showcases her personality as well and kind of her personal life without getting too personal, right? Because we don't have to do that. So those are the highlights that I recommend having on your page. Remember, if you have a lot, like 30, 40 highlights, go in, clean them up, remove some that are old, and make sure that you set an engaging cover for your highlight, that the title is engaging and gets people to click, and that you are keeping them updated regularly. They should have between 5 to 7 slides per highlight. So now you have your Instagram profile set up with highlights that are going to engage people, get them to learn more about you, hit that follow button, and even be directed to your email newsletter or to your products to purchase. But in order to do that, we need to have traffic coming to our page. And an amazing way to do that and increase your views is through Reels and TikToks, which are one of the best ways to get in front of a new audience right now on social media. And the key to that is going to be the hook at the beginning of your video. I have an entire video that I'm going to link for you here, all about writing effective hooks for your social media content. So I hope you'll check that one out. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye.